Welcome to our week 2 training tape for the Great Plains Athletic Conference. My name is Monty Tilsner, and I'll be taking you through 10 plays that were put together by our officiating crews and our head official, Sean Johnston. So let's go ahead and get started. First play here, you see we have number 9, who is our kicker. We go forward a little bit, you can't see it, but we have number 9 also on the kicking team. So the point here is, obviously this is a foul. We cannot have 2 players on the same team using the same number during the same down, but also we need to know the enforcement. This is a live ball foul. It is a 5-yard penalty only from the previous spot. This may not be tacked on. Why? Because in the statement of the rule, the penalty statement is in the rule on illegal numbering. So this is one that it says in the rule itself, previous spot, that trumps our normal K fouls can be tacked on except for KCI. So anytime it says it in the statement of the penalty, then that trumps everything. One thing you might want to look at is what other rules are similar to that cannot be tacked on. They are ones that are previous spot only. There are certain fouls by the offense, certain fouls by the defense that are previous spot only. Okay, auto subs, automatic substitution process. Remember, anytime we go into the offensive bench area, we want to auto sub, and it's not just on a run that goes out of bounds. In this case, we've got a completed pass at the 23-yard line, goes out of bounds, and our back judge and deep wings should be communicating auto sub to our referee. Because why do we do this? If you take a look here, here's our player who ended up getting ran out of bounds, and he's going to come back through the bench area. So our defense does not know if he's, who's coming back in. So anytime we are in that situation, we want to go auto sub. So we should be doing the auto sub here, and we end up with an issue because since we don't go auto sub, our next play shows us what happens. We have the defense trying to substitute. Okay, we should be in auto sub mechanics. We're not. Okay, so we've got, since we didn't discuss this, we didn't go over the O2O and say auto sub. Our referee doesn't have the iron cross out. Our umpire is not holding up our defense. And now our umpire goes in. We try to shut this play down. We don't before they snap it. We do come in eventually and get it shut down and say that the offense was in, the officials should have been in substitution mechanics or were substituting mechanics, and the defense was not allowed to match up. So this is just a do-over. Okay, the play did not happen. We allow the defense to sub, and we start the play over. But if we do a better job of recognizing that as being an auto sub and communicating that on the O2O, then this will not happen. So that's what we want to make sure that we do a better job next time. Forward progress. All right, remember, anytime we've got 2 or more players on a guy and he's going backwards, then we want to shut that down immediately to not incite extra roughness. In this case, we have solid contact at the 29-yard line, and he continues to get driven back. Now when the second guy comes in, you're shutting it down instantly now, okay? When it's one-on-one, we're going to give him a little bit of leeway, but this contact started at the 29. We never lost contact. We should be at the 29-yard line. We're out at the 30, so we gave him a little bit better spot than we should have, but we do want to give them all the progress that they have. So, we can get a little better spot probably. Again, that contact right at the 29, not at the 30. Our crossfield, it looks like our crossfield spot might be helping out, but we do end up going to the 30 in this case. So just be great officials when it comes to forward progress. Next play, early blocking by the offense and the defense, or the defense initiating a block. So remember, we talked about this with potential OPI, who initiates the block, and in this case, what you can see is we're going to have our defensive player who is going to initiate this contact. He comes forward and he initiates this contact with this offensive player. So Sean's comment here is early blocking downfield. Since the defense initiates this, we cannot place a foul on the offense. Now, that's not an absolute that we cannot place this foul on the offense. A foul on the offense. If they continue and really drive, you know, that right now they're just engaged. But if this receiver now would just be would drive and continually drive that guy downfield, we could have OPI. That's not really what happens here. They're just kind of blocking each other. That would not be, you know, considered a really big drive block by that guy. But since that defender initiated it, that offensive player gets a lot more grace in what that block does. We would not want offensive pass interference on that particular play. Good one to talk about. All right, next play we've got is, okay, DPI, early contact, not playing the ball. So let's take a look. So we got a couple red flags here. First red flag, if I stop it right now, oops, a little late. If I stop it right now, red flag number 1, defender not playing the ball. Remember, we talk a lot about red flags. So we have a higher potential for a foul when I say red flag. So red flag number 1, not playing the ball. Red flag number 2, ball underthrown. Very, very high potential now for DPI. If this guy makes any contact early, we've got a foul. We take a look. That is definitely contact early. Again, full speed. And now I'll go back and go in slower motion. Okay, so red flag number 1, not playing the ball. Red flag number 2, ball underthrown. The offensive player will put on the brakes, and the defender runs up into him. We've got an easy call for DPI. That was one we definitely could have from our our deep wing and our back judge. Short wings, you're a long ways from that. You don't have the greatest angle. Probably want to stay off that. You know, really the back judge has the best angle to see if that's early contact or not. But that was an easy one. Our deep wing had that one as well. Better angle here, or different angle, I should say. And you can see definitely gets there early. Good call for DPI. Next play, we've got clock management. Okay, so this is a really good one here to discuss as a crew. When we're late in the half, late in the game, the offense is trying to get out of bounds. So if they're trying to get out of bounds, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. And the comment here by Sean is the defense really needs to keep him in bounds to keep that clock running at the end of the half. Or we need very, very obvious progress stop driving him backwards. So let's take a look at this one. This just is not one that, he kind of grabs a little bit, kind of whiffs. So this is going to be a stop the clock on the completion in bounds, dead ball out of bounds. We're going to start this on the snap. So if we go in slower motion here, you can see defender. Now, if he gets us in there and drives him backwards 2 yards, definitely still in bounds, that's fine. In this case, that guy's going out of bounds sideways at best, but definitely not going backwards hard as a result of the contact by our defense. So we would want this to be a dead clock coming out of this. Okay, so clock is important. Offense is trying to get out of bounds. And they're trying to run out of bounds with that ball. So this is one we're going to stop the clock. Now, if we're in the middle of the first quarter, middle of the second quarter, middle of the third quarter, even maybe to the middle-ish of the fourth quarter, yeah, wind that baby up when in doubt. But when in doubt on end of the game, into the half situation, then we're going to give the doubt to the offense, and we're going to stop that clock. Next one here we have, this is an interesting one. This is pretty bad. This is a Biker Shorts 101 right here. So egregious pants, Sean says, no knee pads as well. Cannot play without knee pads. Pants need to be close to touching the top of the knees. I'll play this in slow motion here. This is pretty bad by these guys. So this is bad enough. You know, that's looking like a biker short right there. Look at the quarterback. I mean, that's not even close. So those ones, we want to take care of all this before the game starts. We're not going to stop the game in the fourth quarter, send guys out or whatever in this case. So we need to make sure we do a better job preventing that to begin with. Next play is a DPI cutoff. I've said this before, be very, very careful on cutoff DPI category plays. But this one is a good one. And what I like about it is this is still a foul, even though this defender turns. So our defender now, he's in great position right here. Okay, he's just got to turn and run with the guy. He turns, but now just because he turns doesn't mean he can continue to drive him out of bounds. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's got him close to the sideline, and he just keeps driving him, and he's out of bounds now. So, you know, that's when we have a foul for DPI for a cutoff. Okay, going back, position of our side judge, you know, we need to turn our hips a lot sooner than when we do. We get behind this ball. Remember, talked about this before. If in 10, 12 yards, they're still taking long strides, then they're going deep. So we're at 10 yards right now, long strides, 12 yards. He's going deep at this point. You got to recognize that. You should be starting out at 24 yards. You should be turning your hips. You should be running. And we end up that we also, if we take a look, we're out here we're outside of the white. We remember we have to be in the white. If we're outside of the white in the green and we run into a coach, that's on us. So we need to be in the white. If we're in better position, if we're back deeper, you know, our back judge really should be back deeper as well. We want our back judge to be back, you know, to the 22, 23 yard line, side judge as well. We can judge that better. But again, just because he's looking back, he can't continue. It's got to be an overt act when he's looking back. He's looking back. So if we need an overt act, we need an arm grab, arm bar, you know, preventing him from reaching that arm up, or he continues to drive him out of bounds, and that's what he does on this play. So we will not cut off DPI on this particular play. I don't know if we get a great angle from this view. Let's take a look real quick. Nope, just kind of the end of it. You can see, side judge, we need you to be significantly deeper to be able to make a better judgment. All right, where are we at here? Next play. Oh, that looks, oh yeah. IBB, this is a real interesting one. If we take a look here, we're going to talk about our judgment on, you know, first of all, chase mode, any contact in the back, potential for a foul for a block in the back. However, if we take a look at this and what happens, there's our block. That's definitely a block in the back, right? But look at what happens. He blocks him into the runner and into the tackle. Okay, so if he blocks him into the tackle, we do not have a foul for a block in the back, and that's per philosophy. So there's a block in the back. Now, also, it would not be a foul if this block in the back occurs as the tackle's being made by another person. So that also is a philosophy that would take us off of that foul. Okay, so block in the back, don't just throw your flag right away. See the result. This guy's going down, getting tackled by that man, or at the same time as that block in the back occurred. So in this case, he was kind of blocked into that. So then we are not going to have a foul for a block in the back. Let's see our further comment. Oh, that was one that we were talked about. We're going to take out. So the only foul we could have if we get blocked into that guy, or if that block occurs the same time as the tackle's being made, is if it's so bad that it's a personal foul. The only time we're going to have a block in the back that's so bad that it's a personal foul probably is if it's kind of a cheap shot. The guy's just standing there doing absolutely nothing and gets drilled in the back. You know, this one, he's pursuing, you know, he's pursuing this and trying to make a tackle when he gets blocked in the back. So that's not going to rise to the level of a personal foul in that case. So again, just taking a look at that. Just think about those philosophies we talked about. Okay, so IDP, this is a good one here. Line of scrimmage is the 35. This guy gets down to the 30, 29. And once he's behind, he can't back up and make it legal again. So we're going to have a foul there for IDP. And it's a big one. We got to make sure we get this because look what happens. You know, we miss this 5 yards downfield, 6 yards downfield, and now we've got a touchdown scored. Coaches are not going to be happy. Second thing, mechanically, let's take a look. We're snapping the ball from the 35, which means we're at the 10-yard line here, which is good. Our back judge probably at about the 5-yard line, and we're drifting back. That's good. But our back judge gets caught up in the middle of this play a little bit. We need you to be on that back end line. This guy's in a couple of yards of end line. If you would bobble this and then complete the catch right on the end line, we need you to be on that end line. So remember, if they're coming at you from that back side, okay, we look at our initial setup here. So we're a double-double, and our L's over here. So this is a problem we had with this play. Our back judge is over here for his key. But remember, back judge, you're a free safety. You need to see that whole field. All right, don't get stuck on your side where your keys are because you got a guy who's running a post, running a skinny post from the back side. And because you get stuck on your key, you get to it late, and now he ends up in front of you. If you're officiating this whole field, if this guy's running a skinny post this direction, if you can, you want to slide and get on this other side of him so he ends up, you know, you're behind him, but he crosses kind of to the, not in front of you, but to the front side of you. Okay, so a little better mechanics there would be great by our back judge. Like I said, if this ball gets touched and bobbled and then gets caught right here now, we need you on this end line so you have a great view of if he has possession and where those feet are. That might be it. Let's see. Yep, that's our last one. So, hey, under 18 minutes, go me. All right, so, hey, pregame well, send good plays into Sean. Keep working on things. Keep getting in the rule book. One thing you might want to do is you might want to go through the rule book and write down all the fouls that have what a previous spot enforcement in the penalty statement of the foul. There's probably 15 to 20 of them. Some are on the offense, some are on the defense. And if you need to know if it's ones like this that can or cannot be tacked on. So have a great week. Travel safe. Have great games. We'll talk to you again next week.